In the headlines, no more fatalities from Lagos BRT accident as injured victims stabilize at teaching hospital. Supreme Court orders INEC to recognize Hanga as Kano NNPP senatorial candidate. Naira scarcity hits poultry farmers and egg sellers. And on the foreign scene, thousands displaced as Eastern DRC conflict worsens. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The Supreme Court has affirmed Rufai Hanga as the NNPP Kano Central senatorial candidate. The Apex Court also ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize him and not Ibrahim Shekaro, who the commission recognized as the winner of Saturday, February 25th election. Delivering judgment in an appeal brought before it by the Independent National Electoral Commission, the court upheld the judgments of the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which had earlier upheld the candidature of Rufai Hanga as the candidate of the party. The judgment, prepared by Justice Uwani Abba-Aji and delivered by Justice Emmanuel Agim, the Supreme Court held that INEC's appeal lacked merit and substance and subsequently dismissed it. The Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal had in their previous judgment upheld Rufai Hanga as the senatorial candidate of the NNPP for Kano Central, following the withdrawal of Ibrahim Shekaro as a member of the party and senatorial candidate due to irreconcilable differences he allegedly had with the party. Rather than obey the Federal High Court order, INEC appealed the judgment at the Appellate Court. Not satisfied with the judgments of the trial and appellate courts, the electoral body proceeded to the Supreme Court to challenge the judgments, which upheld Rufai Hanga as the lawful candidate of the NNPP Kano Central Senatorial District. Meanwhile, mixed reactions continue to trail the postponement of the governorship and state houses of assembly elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC to Saturday, March 18th. INEC said the move is to enable it to reconfigure the bimodal voter accreditation system for the elections. Ado Musa speaks to voters in Jos on the development.
Residents of Plateau State also joined other Nigerians to express their views on the postponement of the governorship and state assembly elections. While some are of the view that the postponement of the election was within the powers of INEC and the commission is right, others expressed dissatisfaction, believing that INEC should have reconfigured the Vivas well ahead of time.
The postponement of the election is a shock to some of us because people are already they're ready to vote. But to our surprise, just a short time they said it's postponed, which is not appropriate.
Based on the issue at hand, INEC mentions that there was a litigations by both parties, APC, PDP and Labour Party in regard to the issue of Vivas. And then it was I think on Wednesday that the INEC were able to get a judgment from Court of Appeal, of which they were allowed to configure the Vivas for the next election.
We are not happy for this postponement because a lot of people, they are expecting this election and everything and our activities is stopped because we are just waiting to cast our vote, but we are just here. INEC was postponed the elections.
The residents hope that the electoral empire will do the needful to ensure that the exercise is free and fair.
Our hope, we need INEC to do free and fair elections because we don't want to hear something different from us. We are putting hope. So please, INEC should make sure that they are doing free and fair elections.
Due to the enthusiasm of INEC and the hope Nigerians are having that the election is going to be free and fair, and then with the hope that those that were elected and then they were going to be given their mandate.
We hope that the needful will be done because let it not repeat himself. If the thing repeat himself, to me, is a very bad one.
The electorates hope that there will be no further extension after March 18. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And the People's Democratic Party and All Progressive Congress in Kwara State have been trading words over allegations of alleged vote buying following postponement of the governorship and State House of Assembly elections. The People's Democratic Party is accusing the ruling party of secretly transferring money to lure voters for the coming election, while the All Progressives Congress alleges plans by the opposition to buy votes with foreign currencies. The report.
The first salvo of accusation was thrown by the Campaign Council of the Kwara State chapter of the People's Democratic Party at a press conference where it accuses the ruling party of desperation to win the coming governorship election by giving out money to lure voters electronically.
We're here to bring to your attention the genuine information at our disposal on how a huge sum of money is being moved for the various accounts of Kwara State into private accounts for subsequent disbursements to induce voters. We have correct and factual information about how political office holders, private individuals outside government, influential people in our society, and even bureaucrats receive huge money from government accounts.
Reacting, the All Progressive Congress wondered how the opposition could be involved in what it termed reckless claim and penchant falsehood. Abdallah Abdul Majid, deputy spokesperson APC Campaign Council, alleges that the opposition, PDP, has concluded arrangements to buy people's votes with foreign currencies, adding that the ruling party has won the hearts of the people and will win without buying votes.
We would like to say very clearly, without fear or favor, there is no truth whatsoever to the claims of the ever-lying PDP. The party is notorious among our people for its reckless claims and penchant for outright falsehood. Its latest claims are true to type and especially hypocritical of a political party that sought to buy people's conscience with dollars, which we are aware of. The action of the PDP is nothing more than shadow chasing, and it is engaging in false equivalence, thinking everyone acts in bad faith, as they did while in government, and they still do, even while they are in the opposition at the moment.
In Kwara State, the governorship election is a contest between the incumbent APC governor and the opposition PDP, which lost power in 2019.
And still talking politics, the opposition People's Democratic Party in Kaduna State has accused the ruling All Progressives Congress of using state apparatus in intimidating its members ahead of the governorship election. PDP chairman Hassan Hayat, who made the allegation at a media conference in Kaduna, described the move as undemocratic and dictatorial. The report.
The party alleged that the ruling party in the state wants to retain power by intimidating PDP members in Kaduna State.
We draw the attention of Nigerians and the international community to these undemocratic acts of harassment against PDP members in our state. We ask for either the immediate release of those arrested or charged to a competent court so that the needed legal process can start. Doing otherwise would amount to an infringement of their fundamental human rights and a clear misuse of state power.
The party alleged that vote buying could be used in the forthcoming governorship election to influence voters, calling on the authorities to take the necessary actions. The PDP chairman also called on the security agencies to investigate APC for vote buying.
It's about vote buying, whether in cash or in kind. The whole thing is the same, and it is against the law. And that's why we are asking EFCC that is saddled with that responsibility to take the necessary actions, because they cannot claim ignorance of what is going on. And since we have not seen any action being taken, we are drawing their attention so that tomorrow they will not say that they don't know. We have now told them.
The chairman of the APC in Kaduna State, Emmanuel Jakada, and Secretary Yahaya Baba Party could not be reached for comment on the allegations by the opposition party in the state. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And now to Nasarawa State, where the National Rescue Movement governorship candidate in the state, Abubakar Sambo, has denied media reports that he has stepped down from the race for the People's Democratic Party candidate, David Umbugadu. The NRM candidate made the clarification during a press briefing in Lafia. He explained that the news report is not true and he reaffirms and remains the authentic candidate of the NRM in Nasarawa State.
My ambitions and have stepped down to the gubernatorial candidate of PDP, Honorable David Umbugadu. I would like to state categorically and for the record that this is not true. Let me clarify that I, Alhaji Musa Sambu, remain not only the authentic but also the acceptable candidate of National Rescue Movement in Nasarawa State. The news is not only fake but also unfounded and malicious being spread by politicians who are desperate to achieve their political goal through whatever means possible. I wish to also state that I have been approached by various leading political parties in the state and the possibility of withdrawing from the race and to support their respected candidates in the following forthcoming 2023 gubernatorial and state assembly election in the state.
And now to Lagos State, where no more fatalities were recorded after the initial tally of 6 from the BRT and train accident. Over 100 victims have also been stabilized at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. The Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Professor Adetokunbo Fabanwu, gave the update on Friday.
Calmness is gradually returning to the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Ikeja, where most of the victims of Thursday's accident are receiving treatment. Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, at a news conference on Friday said 32 survivors of the train and bus accident have been discharged from different hospitals in the state. He said that 19 survivors were discharged from the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LASUD, 5 from Toll Gate Trauma Center and 8 from Orile Agege General Hospital. The commissioner added that the accident recorded 102 casualties, including 6 fatalities. Commending blood donor, Professor Abayomi said all the victims with varying degrees of life-threatening injuries were admitted and treated at LASUD.
Yesterday, as of early this morning, we were able to transfuse 40 units of blood to the victims to stabilize them, those that required blood because they're either going in for surgery or they were bleeding into their brain or their chest or their abdomen, were able to save their lives with rapid access and availability of safe blood. Thank you very much to all citizens of Lagos State who responded in a very unusual way. Yesterday we were able to collect 256 voluntary units of blood from sympathizers and well-wishers, and we're really very grateful to the public for responding in this way. In case we have more access or more need for blood, you can see that on top of the blood we have in our blood bank, we're able to replenish our stores with a very generous response from the community.
Senator Oluremi Tinubu, the wife of President-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, alongside the First Lady of Lagos State, Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, were also at LASUD to check the condition of the victims from the accident. Senator Tinubu described the accident as an unfortunate incident while calling for caution on the part of the drivers to avoid accidents.
I just hope that the drivers are more careful in the future. And because they can see what has happened now, lives have been lost. So we, commiserate with the family that lost some loved ones. And those who are here, we wish them speedy recovery.
Chief Medical Director of LASUD, Professor Adetokunbo Fabanwu, stated that the hospital has not recorded any more fatalities after the 6 internally recorded. He added that through the trigger, LASUD was able to stabilize over 100 patients while referring the less safe patients to other hospitals around the state.
to seize the opportunity to say that we triaged in compliance with international best practice. When you have huge numbers of casualties, there is no way that you can have vacant or empty emergency bed spaces to put them. So the whole idea is to put them in an open space so that you can clearly see the injuries that they have. Health workers who are numbering over 100 will be able to move around freely to be able to ascertain the kind of injuries they were dealing with.
Relative of one of the accident victims, Rahman Bakare, commended the effort of the staff of LASUT as well as the Lagos State government for the swift response.
The status right now is that he's very conscious and he's discussing with us like a brother. We can see that he's very conscious and we thank God for that. But before now, he was struggling with the consciousness. We could not really speak with him very well. But as of now, he's conscious, though he still has a fracture in his leg and he has some issues with his pelvis and then he has some issues with his chest.
Lagos State, the commercial hub of Nigeria, was thrown into a panic mood on Thursday when a Lagos State government staff bus conveying civil servants from Isola to Alausa had a head-on collision with a train at PWD bus stop along Agege Motor Road.
Meanwhile, poultry farmers and egg sellers are feeling the heat of the Naira scarcity as the cashless policy affects businesses and means of livelihood. Noel Sampson reports that egg sellers in Abuja record losses due to the cash crunch.
Chicken and egg production is a lucrative business until recently when the economy is hit by Naira scarcity. Poultry farmers say cash unavailability in the country is telling on them now, especially those into egg production.
The cash unavailability has made business a little bit tough. We have to pay for labor, we have to pay our salaries, we have to pay our workers. Then because there's no cash, we have eggs on stock right now that we cannot even sell. We have over 100 crates of eggs on ground that has not been moving. Business is making business very, very slow.
In the purchase of materials, mostly the chicken feed and a lot of other things, it has affected immensely in the sense that you have to make sure that you can make transfers, especially since the cash crunch also coincided with a very low network where you can't even make transfers. Sometimes we go to buy things, we are there for minutes without end trying to pay them. It's not like we don't have the means to pay them, it's just the whole system is a bit messy right now.
They call on the federal government to set machinery in motion to normalize the situation for businesses to survive and thrive.
Like to buy feeds now, we have to transfer. Sometimes to make transfers, because of the bad network, you have to wait there for like days before you get your feed. We have to there was a day I went to buy feed. I had to beg them to just give me 2 so I can bring it back here. So when they eventually get the transfer, I can get the remaining ones. Normally, we just have paid cash, get all my feed and everything will be fine. It just makes things more stressful. Transporting the feeds here, everything is just more stressful.
We really hope that the new judgments from the Supreme Court will be followed by CBN and hopefully we'll start seeing things moving quicker. It will help our business a lot.
About 21 billion eggs are produced in Nigeria annually through poultry farming, making it the largest production of chicken eggs in Africa. But due to the cash crunch we have in the country, you can see the number of eggs we have here. We have estimately over 100 crates of eggs available here. From Tabai Farms in Abuja, Noel Sampson, Trust TV News.
Still with us on Trust TV News Update, still ahead. We'll take a look at factors behind reckless driving. Details of this and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. No more fatalities from Lagos BRT accident as injured victims stabilized at teaching hospital. And Supreme Court orders INEC to recognize Hanga as Kano NNPP senatorial candidate. And moving on to other news. The National Population Commission says it will generate quality data that will meet international standards in the 2023 population and housing census. The Director of Public Affairs of the National Population Commission said this in an exclusive interview with Trust TV.
Nigeria is set to conduct a national population census. But unlike previous headcounts, the 2023 edition is expected to be digital without the use of papers.
As you know, this census is going to be digital. We have received the personal digital assistant that we're going to use for the exercise. And right now, those personal digital assistants, which will be used to collect information on the field, they are being configured in such a way that will make the census process very, very smooth, transparent, and error-free.
But do Nigerians think this can be achieved?
INEC emphasized and gave us full assurance that there's going to be electronic upload of the results. You and I know how it ended or how it's panning out. So for now, I cannot say they will succeed 100% because of that experience. But it's another thing to their advantage to improve on their own technology.
No, they can't deliver. Because I know before, when they are doing census, they used to go to houses from one room to another, counting how many children, how many men, how many women, how many, in fact, everybody are counting. But going digital without counting one by one, they won't know how many we are in Nigeria.
Yes, it can work if they will be faithful to what they have said. Because in the last election, the INEC chairman have given us assurance that beavers will work. But at the end of the election, we know what happens. And the outcome is being contested in the court of law. If they will do what they say according to their promise, it will be more better. Then we will know the actual number we have in Nigeria.
And what lesson should MPC learn from INEC?
I've had complaints or issues or concern raised that INEC adopted technology and perhaps maybe it didn't achieve the intended purpose or as much as they thought. Well, and MPC will also do it whether we're going to have the same result. First, we must get it clear at this level, we cannot run away from technology. Of course, we must also recognize the fact that technology also has its own problem. But the type of technology that will be adopted by MPC, you know, I can speak for that. I don't know the details of the beavers used by INEC, but I know that our own processes, we have tested it over time and we're sure that it's going to work.
The Commission, however, urged Nigerians to assist the MPC achieve this feat by rendering help to the census staff and give accurate data while making themselves available for the head count. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, commuters in Abuja want traffic law enforcement agencies to rise against the reckless driving in the country's capital. Kabir Lawal reports that driving against traffic has caused avoidable accidents. All right, moving on. The United Nations Refugee Agency has warned of a growing humanitarian catastrophe in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where fighting between government forces and armed groups has caused hundreds of thousands of people to flee. UNHCR spokesman Matthew Saltmarsh said on Friday the violence had prompted nearly 300,000 people to flee across the Rutshuru and Masisi territories of the DRC's North Kivu province in February. Expressing great alarm, Saltmarsh said the UNHCR and its partners must step up humanitarian assistance, but that difficulties remain in accessing displaced people in some parts of North Kivu because of the violence. In mid-January, the UN aid agency, OCHA, said 12 humanitarian organizations had been forced to limit their operations in parts of Ituri province because of increased attacks. The ruling junta in Mali announced on Friday that it will postpone a constitutional referendum scheduled for March 19th, while assuring that it will respect its commitments to return civilians to the helm of the country in 2024. The junta justifies the postponement by the installation of the representations of the election management body in all regions of the country and by the desire to popularize the draft new constitution. This constitution is a key element of the vast reform project invoked by the military to justify continuing to rule the country until 2024, which is facing the spread of jihadism and a deep multifaceted crisis. The version of the constitution presented as final, handed to the head of the junta, Colonel Assimi Goita, on February 27th, affirms the attachment to the republican form and secularity of the state. Mali has been plagued since 2012 by the spread of jihadism and violence of all kinds. The junta pushed out French soldiers in 2022 amid great acrimony and has turned to Russia in both its military and political affairs. And in sports, Nigeria's under-23 national football team, the Olympic Eagles, will now host their Guinean counterparts at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, on March 22nd. In the final round of qualifiers for this year's Africa Under-23 Cup of Nations. The game was earlier scheduled for the Lekan Salami Stadium, Ibadan, the same day. To reach this stage of the series, the 1996 champions defeated Tanzania Under-23 national team by 3-1 on aggregate in October 2022, winning 2-0 at the Lekan Salami Stadium after a 1-1 first leg stalemate in Dar es Salaam. The return leg against Guinea will be in Morocco on March 27th. And that wraps up Trans TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.